Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. Today we're just going to be starting off exactly where we left off pretty much, just with a brand new craft, and like I said before, I put up a new space station core. It's slightly different, you'll see it when we get to it. But I'm actually doing something different for this episode as well, doing some post-commentary, because I can cut out a lot more and just speed up through a lot of the boring stuff, which is why it's shorter. And I think I'm actually much happier with this, so we'll wait for that. And if you saw the mouse just waving in front of the space station there, in front of the launch pad, that was actually me waiting for the space station to get close so we can rendezvous properly. And that is the orbiter launching. As you can see, very simple. Pretty much the exact same as before. The only difference, I just changed the center engine there to make it a little smaller and give me some vectoring. And now we're just a little higher up now. I had to start gravity turning a little earlier because I was going a little bit too fast. But all is good, all on track. Looking good, facing 45 degrees now. Should be trying to get our orbit. And I'm going to be zooming out to the map here. You can see me checking the apoapsis there. Just want to make sure it gets up high enough. And yeah, just keep accelerating. This is one of the more boring parts. You should pretty much know how to get your orbits going, but if you don't, if you have any questions, please let me know. And now we're just getting close to the orbit of the space station. You can see we're pretty close to it. The apoapsis will be very close. The space station is up around 120 kilometers, so I just went a little less than that. Now we're just going to be adjusting maneuver nodes. This is the easiest way to try to get an orbit that also somewhat matches the orbit of the thing you're trying to rendezvous with. And I don't do a great job here. I just want to make sure it's somewhat close. I realize afterwards that I'm actually dipping back down into the atmosphere, which gets a little bit annoying because the whole time warp thing doesn't let you go too fast, but oh well, that's okay. So we're just checking out our intersect there. We're at 6 kilometers or so. It's not bad. I could try to intercept, but I won't because it's a bad idea to try to go on without doing an orbit. You just don't have enough speed, and your velocity in general will just not be good enough. You will end up having to do another orbit anyways, so might as well get everything planned out as well as you can. And you can see here I'm adjusting the ascending node so that we are on the same inclination. We were 1.5 degrees off or something, which is definitely noticeable. So now we're at 0. I'm just pointing it towards the right direction. A little blue marker there. And I'm actually going to be removing the marker because it gets kind of in the way when you're trying to do small maneuvers. So just point yourself where you're supposed to go, wait for the node, and just burn until you can just eyeball it. So now we should be going down to 0. There we go. And now we basically gotta wait. We have a decent orbit. Check the periapsis there and see I'm in the atmosphere, but don't really feel like checking it or changing it, sorry. So just playing some more maneuver nodes here. This is probably the easiest way. I'm so thankful for these maneuver nodes. I was pretty terrible at rendezvousing without them, and these things just make things so much easier. Takes all the guesswork out of it and all that wonderful stuff. So just trying to get it as close as possible, adjusting the angles and all that stuff. Just gonna zoom around the planet here, get to our node. Gonna be hitting the atmosphere real soon. Just gotta make sure, yeah. I'm gonna spin it around. This is actually, I guess, before I realize I'm in the atmosphere, so I had plenty of time in the atmosphere itself to do this. But no, I decided to wait. And a couple of seconds later, bam, atmosphere, brings you down to 1 times time warp. So the most I can do is 4 times while I'm stuck here, so I'll just skip over that until we get back out of the atmosphere. Zooming around the planet here, about to make contact with the starbase. Should be able to see it. Yep, there it is. The intersect was at 9.6 kilometers, so I'm actually going to wait until I hit that before I start retroburning and slowing myself down. And if you look at the nav ball there, the target or the speed is actually changed. It was orbital speed before, now it's target speed, and what that means, it's my speed relative to the thing I'm targeting. So right now I'm just trying to get the prograde, the direction that I'm heading, facing the little pink marker there, which is the target. So yeah, just trying to get that as close as possible. do some adjustments every once in a while, make sure we're still on track. And if you see me burning in kind of weird places, it's because I'm trying to push the vectors in, so I'm not just doing constant stop and go, stop and go. This way I'm adjusting my trajectory as I'm still moving towards it, which works out pretty nice actually. And now that we're 3 kilometers away, we can start going a little faster. Should be able to go in a straight line towards it now pretty much. Pretty sure that's what happens. We'll just fast forward here, time warp, and oh, almost missed it there. Thankfully stopped it just in time. And yeah, this is one of the more difficult parts of docking. I actually find this a lot harder than the docking process itself. The whole orbital rendezvous part, you got to be constantly just be vigilant. Just keep an eye on what's going on. Make sure you're not going to be zooming by the thing, and do a little orbital ballet with just constantly going by it, stopping, going towards it, then you go by it again, and stop, and so on and so forth. So just make sure you can get to it in a couple of burns. You're not wasting too much fuel. You can see I'm still doing excellent on fuel there. I used about maybe a quarter of the tank to make my orbit, so this is great. I have plenty of gas left. Now we're just getting in super close, still on track, making sure I'm pointed in a decent direction so I can slow down as soon as I need to. And there you can see the retrograde. I'm just burning a little bit so I can push it towards the target. That pink reticule that doesn't have a circle on it is away from the target. So yeah, and this is a Starbase Core B. You can see I made some changes to it, made it a little smaller, added some more docking ports. Take a better look at it when we get up close. And then yeah, just set the docking port as the target instead of the actual spacecraft itself, so you're not trying to just crash into the craft. You're actually going towards the docking port. And point your vehicles, or yes, your spaceships, whatever, in the right direction. The easiest way to do it is to do it halfway between your prograde and your retrograde, which generally works out to being north and south if you're going on a 90-degree orbit. So right now I switched to chase camera view because it makes RCS controls much easier. Everything stays the way it's supposed to. All your translation controls will be perfectly fine. As in I will always be down, and K will always be up, and then J and L are your left and right and all that. So yeah, I'm just getting it lined up here. I'm actually doing this eyeballing it for the most part. I don't even know where the pink marker is. But you get to a certain point with enough practice where you can pretty much just eyeball the entire thing. And yep, you can see the pink marker there. It's actually coming up nicely. It's slowly shifting to the point where I'm facing, which is perfect. We're almost aligned here. Just make sure our RCS is on. And SAS is all as well, makes things a lot easier. Keeps you from spinning around. Some last minute adjustments here and burn in, and there we go. And that's your docking. Super, super easy. If you can get the rendezvous part of it down, the rest of it should be very, very fine. You can see the ship is actually doing some crazy stuff. That's me doing the RCS, but when I put the SAS on the orbital vehicle, and as well as the space station, because each one has an SAS, they start fighting against each other, and everything just starts wobbling. But you can just time warp, and that should fix it. So yeah, there's the Starbase core with the orbital vehicle docked onto it. And we have our orbit at 120 kilometers. That's perfect. And now this is the old Starbase core. I decided to just move it away from the planet. You'll see in a second exactly where it is, but I thought they had a nice view. Little Kerbal eclipse of the sun. Difficult words there, apparently. So they're just enjoying their nice view. And there's the moon. So yeah, these guys are probably just going to set up in moon orbit. Maybe I'll start up a Starbase up here or something for when I'm doing missions on the ground. But anyway, that's docking for you. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and all that. And I will see you next time. Bye.